Have you ever tried to buy concert tickets or a new console? You've gone online the exact moment it goes on sale. You've hit the buy button and you've still missed out, only to find out later that scalpers have bought hundreds, if not thousands, of the very product you're trying to buy and are now flipping them at 10 times the rate. That sickening, venomous rage you feel, because I've been there, I've felt it. That is what Cloud's about. It's by J-horror legend Kiyoshi Kurosawa, and it is a slow burn thriller about greed, sociopathy, and the dangers of when online rage ticks over into real-time violence. Like everything Kurosawa does, it's fucking brilliant. It's a really good movie. It threw me for a loop. You could have asked me at any point in this film, what do you think is going to happen next? And I think I probably would have got it wrong every single time. He just has this, he builds dread and he keeps you off balance. He's a brilliant filmmaker. I got to see this last year at a film festival, but I think it's coming out in wide release around the world about now. So go see it, because Kiyoshi Kurosawa does not get the respect he deserves in Western circles. He is a phenomenal filmmaker. I just love him. I always want him to do well and his films to do well, because he makes such weird, fucked up shit that not many people have the balls to make. Like, he has a vision and he sticks to that vision every single time, and this is no different. So here is my spoiler-free review on Cloud. Cloud follows low-level online reseller Yoshi, played by Masaki Suda. When we meet Yoshi, he is lowballing the suppliers of these therapeutic health devices. They're trying to appeal to his humanity, saying that it's their livelihood and they're really well made and that they sell for like $1,000 online. But he's got them over a barrel. So he is just unflinching and clinical in his negotiation. You can tell right away he does not give a fuck about these people. He is only interested in flipping these devices. They get really angry with him, but because they can't do anything, they end up giving him taking the offer. He goes on to flip these for a profit and expand his reselling business. He starts getting into stuff like handbags and idol figurines and all sorts of shit. And as he keeps building his business and fucking over consumers and fucking over suppliers under the pseudonym Rattel, an online forum starts building and getting members who are trying to work out who Rattel is and who is running it. So, as he builds his business and he's trying to get more and sell more and make more profit, this online community is growing full of more and more haters, till it gets to a point where online rage ticks into offline violence, and we get to see basically a game of identity cat and mouse, the dangers of mob mentality, and the morality of scalping. And it's really interesting. This movie is so interesting. I was engaged the entire time. This is a slow burn movie, right? It doesn't stay that way, but for the first hour, it takes its time putting the chess pieces on the board. Kurosawa has a obsession with filming the mundane and then sliding it over into horror or surrealism. You will watch 2 minutes of an unbroken wide shot of someone cooking a meal or answering emails, and it is engaging, but then just when you're at the point of okay, I'm kind of sick of this shot, something weird or something creepy will happen and it will jolt you and suck you back in, right? He's a master at picking his times to do that. That happens a lot in this. Maybe not as much as something like Cure, but it does happen a lot in this. You will watch Yoshi just tapping away on his computer for a bit in this wide shot in his house with all this negative space. And just when you get bored of watching that, someone will walk past a window or something creepy will happen in the background. He is the master at that. And I think he is the absolute best person in cinema in the world that does that frame analysis style of horror. I think a lot of Western directors in the style of Ari Aster and Osgood Perkins, who also use those techniques, I think they take a lot of influence. I think they're fans of Kiyoshi Kurosawa, and the best bits of this movie are that sort of stuff. If you like frame analysis style horror, there is a lot to like in this movie. I'm a fairly recent Kurosawa disciple. I saw his horrifying short Chime last year. I had to pay crypto to get it. I'm sure it's more accessible now. It messed me up, but go see Chime if you can. It's really good. Then I managed to catch a rescreening of Cure, which lots of people think is like his magnum opus, and it blew my mind. And then from there, I went on to watch Tokyo Sonata and now Cloud. I haven't seen Pulse. I know lots of people will be like, how the fuck have you not seen Pulse? It's really hard to get in Australia. It's like $70 for a Blu-ray. But after seeing this, I think I'm going to need to jump in and bite the bullet, because he's quickly becoming one of my favorite directors. Like, I'm hooked on his shit. He with every film I watch, he drags me into his quiet, weird, nightmarish world where sort of lonely, boring people do sort of boring shit, but it's not boring. He makes things not boring. Like, if I got on here and just started like opening letters, you guys would get bored pretty fucking quickly. He somehow makes like a 3-4 minute scene of that so engaging. He's just a master at it. I just love his work. And this film is no different, right? He nails everything you need to nail in a horror thriller. He nails. The acting in this movie is great, especially by Masaki Suda. Yoshi is such an interesting character because he's unequivocally a bad guy, right? No one's going to watch this film and be like, he's a really good guy. What a morally great guy, you know? He is restricting access to things that bring people joy so that he can financially exploit them later. That is what he is doing. But he's almost doing it because he's like a hoarder with a gambling addiction, right? Like, this man loves making a sale. It looks like he's reaching climax every time someone buys one of his things. And he does support his girlfriend. Like, he financially supports her and he's kind to her and all that sort of stuff. But he is a bastard. Like, I find scalping morally reprehensible, right? I fucking hate the idea of scalping. But I do like the idea of someone breaking free of corporate shackles and building their own business and doing their own thing and having that freedom. And that is sort of what he is doing. So you can't help but admire that just a little bit. And it brings into question, like, how bad really is scalping, right? I fucking hate scalpers. I really hate it. But would I beat up a scalper? No. Would I call a scalper a fuckwit? Yes. Should I do more? Should there be higher punishments for scalpers than being called a fuckwit? Probably. But how bad is it? Like, I mean, we can all agree that it's not as bad as murdering someone, you know? Is it worse than a parking ticket? Probably. You know, like, it asks all these questions, right? Is it enough to ruin someone's privacy and career over? I don't know. Community standing. Should this community standing be stripped away? I'm not sure. But it asks such an interesting question, and that's what I love about Kurosawa's films. I don't think there is a director in the horror space currently that uses sound design as well as Kurosawa. I love with the Philippou brothers. They do a really good job of it. He is the master at it, though, right? Like, he can make the sound of gyoza being steamed fucking dread-inducing. He uses sound and these large amounts of negative space, and he picks houses and warehouses to shoot in so that they're really empty. He likes the feeling of loneliness, and it just creates such an uncomfortable feeling. All his movies have this really uncomfortable feeling. I feel it when I'm watching one of his movies in my stomach. The worst case of this is probably Chime. He does it the best in Chime. But I will watch someone water a plant like this because he's chosen some really weird pitch and tone at which the water trickles. You know what I mean? He is the undisputed dread master for me. So you are set up to feel uncomfortable from the get-go. Even though something boring might be happening, you're sitting there like, please don't do that. What are you doing? I don't like this feeling. Waiting for something to happen. The tension's really good. And then at halfway in this movie, a switch happens and it takes like a 90-degree genre turn. And I loved it. Like, I loved both the genres that this movie is doing. It is exciting and it's exhilarating, and it sets up just a wonderful finale. After watching this movie, I was just like, what a fucking joy that movie was to watch. It was so good. It's just such a good movie. I'm so glad I watched it. The only thing I didn't like about this film is that near the very, very end of the film, there is some soap opera acting going on by a character. I mean, it is in the last 5 minutes, so it doesn't take away from it too much, but I did find that a little bit grating. And there is a choice made by a character that is so silly that I just don't think a character like Yoshi would make, given what's happened to him up until that point. Like, I was like, why would he do that after everything he's been through? But apart from that, like, I did love where all the characters ended up at the end of this movie. I thought that was really well done. It's wrapped up really well. Like, endings are really hard in horror, and I feel like this one nailed it. And it made me want to go back and watch everything this man has done, which is quite the filmography. But I'm such a big fan of his stuff, and every other thing I watch of him, I'm like, again, another banger. So I will have to go back and watch it because I really enjoyed this movie. You should watch this if you like slow burn horror with like pitch perfect sound design, stuff like Ari Aster does, stuff like Osgood Perkins does. That's a good litmus test for whether you should watch this stuff. If you like stuff like Reservoir Dogs or No Country for Old Men, there's a little bit of those movies in this movie. There's a little bit of it, and it's really good. If you love Kurosawa's other films but want to see him take a even bigger swing, I think from what I've seen from him and what I know of him, this seems like a pretty big swing. The genre that this take goes into is a bit of a swing for him, but it's really fucking good. I think he nails it. I wouldn't watch this if you need a jump scare every 10 minutes. This is, like I said, this is slow burn, methodical horror. If subtitles makes your eyes bleed, if reading subtitles if you struggle with that, probably stay away from this. It is Japanese, but it's fucking brilliant if you give it that investment. So if you're looking for a movie that gave me the same vibe as this one, I would go for Stanley Kubrick's 1971 masterpiece, A Clockwork Orange. While the settings are completely different for the films, they both delve into themes of greed, mob mentality, and what happens to someone when the chickens come home to roost. Clockwork Orange follows a psychopathic delinquent named Alex who runs a gang. He gets caught doing some really bad shit and basically put into this experimental government program to be reformed. And it goes poorly and it gets really weird and really surreal. I love this movie. It's sick. It's twisted. There's a lot of controversy around it because of how full on it is, especially for the 1970s. But it's a great watch. And like Cloud, there are lots of lingering shots of a character just sitting in like an empty room with all this negative space, and it reminded me a lot of Cloud. If you want something like more straight up horror than A Clockwork Orange, because I know some people would be like, that's like an art house film. If you want something straight up, I would go Cam. Cam's a 2018 film. It follows a cam girl who, after building this really great viewing community, her online identity gets stolen by this weird uncanny valley doppelganger. It's a really good techno thriller, and like Cloud, it's about the dangers of online privacy. It's a good illustration of what Blumhouse can do if they're firing on all cylinders. It's really good. I loved Cam. I found it wonderfully creepy and unsettling, especially the uncanny valley of it all. It's really, really good. But that's it. If you want more Asian horror, I have a playlist that I'll link to on one of the end cards here, so go for it. I love international horror. Please feel free to give me international horror recommendations. If you're like, hey, this was actually pretty good, who the fuck is this guy? Come along, go like join us. I do community call outs every month. You don't even have to be subscribed if you don't want to be, where I let you guys pick 3 movies that I will go watch and review in their own standalone review. Fucking get on them. I've got one up for July. Jump in it. I love getting recommendations from audience members, and I chuck them on my list, and I am going to get through them all. And I tend to, lots of the stuff, you might look at my video playlist and be like, this guy just picks random fucking films. How does he choose? Lots of it is from you guys. Lots of it from you guys choosing it. So if you want to be involved in that, fucking drop a comment. Let's fucking do this. Hopefully I'll see you next week for another review. Peace.